Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the next Shop My Stash update. I have 5 products that I work on every single month in this project, and I do randomize them all with a random generator. So before I jump into any of the products I've been working on in the month of October, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. But let's just jump into the video. So this past month has been quite eyeshadow heavy, so I don't have great progress on them, but I have at least used every single item once. So let's just start with the first eyeshadow, which is this one right here. This one is one of my ColourPop eyeshadows that was from a palette. It was from the Element of Surprise palette, and it is in the shade Labyrinth. I did use this twice in the past month, and I already had pan on it, but I just wanted to expand the pan a tiny bit, and I think I did a little bit, but it's still quite a tiny pan. Yeah, so 2 uses on this. It's really nice. It's actually a really beautiful kind of, it's like a mauve tone, and it's, yeah, it just goes really well with a lot of those kind of toned looks, and I really enjoyed this shade. But I also had pan on it this year, so I was a bit worn out with it, and I also had a lot of other tones that I was working on, so it wasn't a one that I could reach for too many times, but I still am happy that I got 2 uses out of it. The next is actually another eyeshadow that comes from a ColourPop palette, and this one comes originally from the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette, and it is in the shade Prima Drama. I have taken out the glitter. I still have the palette, but I've taken out the glitter from there, and this is what the glitter looks like. I actually only used this once, which is a shame because it's a beautiful glitter, but yeah, I just was focusing on other shimmer shades and it was kind of forgotten, to be honest. So I know that I could easily incorporate this into more everyday looks because it is more of a neutral glitter. It's actually really stunning. It's more of a kind of like a bronzy, you can see it right there, it's bronzy, but it has like some warm almost orangeness to it, or like I'm guessing it's peach because from the Sweet Talk palette. And then it also has like a greeny gold shift, and it's, yeah, it's a really stunning glitter, but I just didn't really feel like, or like I did feel like reaching for it, but I just kind of forgot about it, like I said, so I only got 1 use out of this shade. One eyeshadow that actually surprised me that I got a lot of use out of is this one right here. This is from another deep potted palette. It's from an Isadora palette, and I call it Cream. I don't know what the palette was called, but it was like a really neutral all matte palette. It's quite old. It's actually one of the oldest eyeshadows in my collection, but I really like this shade, and it still performs very well. And I did reach for this 6 times in the past month. Again, I already had pan on it, but I wasn't expecting to reach for it that much because I'm panning a nude shade like this in my Panda palette, but yeah, it was just nicer, and it was a bit kind of lighter as well, so it was just easier to reach for, especially if I wanted to brighten up like the inner part right here, because I don't use shades like this to set my eyes either. But it was a really practical shade, and I did get 6 uses out of it in the past month. So those were all of the single eyeshadows I was working on, but I also have 2 potted products, or 2 like separate products. And the first one is actually another eyeshadow, and that is one of my MAC paint pots in the shade Constructivist. I did reach for this 3 times. I think I reached for like an eyeliner once, as a base once, and I can't remember the 3rd time. Maybe as an outer corner shade would make sense. So I did get a few uses out of this one, but not too many. But at least now I know it's still good, and it's, yeah, it's still nice to wear. It's still creamy, so it's something that I can still keep in my collection. Then the last product that I had in is actually the one that I got the most use out of, which is probably surprising to a lot of people, but that is my red lipstick. This one is from Sephora collection, and is one of their lip creams in the shade 01, which is a red liquid lipstick. I did actually use this 7 times in the past month, and it is one of my favorite reds to wear, and I was kind of excited to pull this in because I don't wear reds too often, but it was nice to incorporate and wear with different looks. But it was one that I really enjoyed reaching for, and I feel like I'm getting quite low with this product. I don't have too much left in here, and even when I swirl the wand around, I can see some windows. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but I think I could potentially pan this at one point, which might be surprising. And I haven't had it in any projects really, it's just from genuine use, so it is really one of my favorite reds in my collection, and it was nice to reach for this in the past month. So those were all of the products. I'm gonna pull up my spreadsheet and randomize my 5 items that I'm gonna work on for the next month. So let me get that up and I will be right back. So I do have my randomizer, and I currently have 603 products to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my first number, which is going to be 491. So 491 is one of my Chanel lipsticks, and this is the shade number 2. Not sure what that is, but yeah, I'll gonna have to check that later. The next one is going to be number 206, and 206 is actually really exciting. This is one of my Cleo eyeshadows in the shade Glimmer, which is one of their glitter iridescent shades. So that's going to be, yeah, really nice to work on. The third one is going to be number 54, which should be another single eyeshadow. Actually 54 I've already had in this project, and that was soft brown from MAC, so I'm going to go ahead and re-roll because I don't want to work on the same one again. And that is going to be 254. So 254 comes from Sydney Grace, so it's another single eyeshadow, and this is going to be in the shade Regal, which I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, I was gonna have to check that as well. So the third item will be number 487. So that's actually the fourth item, and 487, let's just have a look and see what that is. So 487 is actually another shade or product that I already had in this product, which is weird because this has never happened before. Now it happens twice in a row, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and pick another number, which is going to be number 318. So this is another single eyeshadow, but it is one of my single pots, and this is one of my YSL eyeshadows in the shade number 5. And then the last product that I'm going to roll in is going to be number 253. And 253 is another single eyeshadow, so let's see what that is. Okay, so I think it had 254 before, didn't I? I did, because this is another Sydney Grey shade, and this is the shade hashtag It's a Boy, which I know it's a deep blue shade. So that's going to be quite nice to roll in. So I will go ahead and pick up my 5 items, and I will be right back. So I'm back, and I have my 5 products right here. I have quite a few eyeshadows, so let's just start with those. Let's start with the ones that are in singles, like magnetic singles. And we do have 2 shades from Sydney Grey, so let's start with those as well. So the first shade that I have is this one right here, which is the shade Regal, again from Sydney Grey. It's a beautiful, really cool toned purple, and I have swatched out right here so you can see what it looks like. I think this is going to be really nice to incorporate with all of the eyeshadows that I have in my Duty Palette My Battleship, which is the Blueberry Muffin palette. I think this is going to go really well with it, and hopefully you're going to see as well that I have a really cohesive eyeshadow color story. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is hashtag It's a Boy, again from Sydney Grace. So hashtag It's a Boy is, like I said, a really deep blue. It has a little bit of a teal in it, but it's a stunning blue, and I would just mainly say it's like a navy. And I don't really have many shades like this in my collection, and you can see there that that is it swatched out. It's very deep, but it's definitely still a blue, and I feel like again it will go really well with what is in my Blueberry Muffin palette. The next up after that we have my Cleona shade, which is the shade Glimmer, and again it is one of their glitter iridescent shades, and you can see it white, but it's basically like a iridescent shade that goes from like a blue to a purple to a pink, and again it's going to go perfectly with the shades I have here, so I'm going to swatch this one out as well. So I don't know if you can see here on my finger, I don't know, like it's so hard to pick these up on camera, especially now because I'm filming at night, so there's no daylight coming in from the window, because usually when I have daylight you can see the shift when I do this, but that is its shade, and I feel like you can mainly see the blue on camera, but if I do this I can definitely see all of the shifts. It actually goes from a blue to like a purple to pink and almost like a yellow at the end. It's absolutely stunning, but I don't think you're going to be able to pick that up on camera unfortunately, but it's a beautiful shade, and I think again it will go really well with the shades that I already have in here. Then the final eyeshadow that I have is this one right here, which is one of my kind of compact singles, and this comes from YSL as you can see, and it's one of the Couture Mono eyeshadows in the shade number 5. It is again more of like a purpley tone, but it's more of a, I guess more of a kind of taupey purple, and it's more neutral, but again it goes very well with the color story that I already have, and I have swatched it out as well, so you can see it down here. Again it's more of a kind of muted purpley tone, but it still have a little bit of purple in it, but it is more, like I said, more of that taupey shade. But again, how beautiful would all of these be in a look? I feel very lucky to have all of these, and I definitely feel like I should create a look using all of these just to see how it turns out, because I do feel like I could create a very cohesive look with these 4 eyeshadows. Then to break everything up, both in terms of product as well as color, we have this lipstick right here, which is from Chanel. This is one of their Rouge Allure Velvets in the shade number 2. It doesn't really have a name, it just says number 2, so I guess maybe this was a limited edition. You can also see the packaging is different, but this is red, and it's more of a kind of deeper toned red as you can see. So we're rolling in a different red this time, but it's not as much of a favorite as the other one is that I just had in the project, but it is a beautiful one nevertheless. And down here you can see that it is swatched out, so this is what I mean, it does break up with the color as well because it doesn't really go with everything else. But I do feel like I should be able to reach for this red a couple times in the next month as well, although I have worn red quite a lot in this month as you could see. I should still be able to reach for this a couple of times. So that is it for today's Shop My Stash update. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and otherwise I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.